Welcome to the Kentucky Medicaid Partner Portal application training on how to apply for Medicaid Provider ID. This video will review how to apply for a Medicaid ID, which is also known as a new enrollment. The topics covered in this video include how to start a new Medicaid application, how to enter required information, how to submit documents on the 8.0 document upload screen, and how to submit the application on the 10.0 submit screen. Additionally, please note that we will only be reviewing a handful of the topics and procedures necessary to complete a new enrollment application. The provider will be issued a Kentucky Medicaid ID number. Before beginning a new enrollment, ensure the provider does not already have a Medicaid ID. To find out if the provider already has a Medicaid ID, please call the Partner Portal Technical Support Center at 877-838-5085, option 1, extension 1. If the provider already has a Medicaid ID but you are unsure of what it is, please send a request via Word or PDF document to program.integrity@ky.gov with the appropriate information depending on your provider. Please note that prior to beginning a new enrollment application, users must know and have the provider type category, applying as an individual, group, or entity, the provider type, primary MPI and taxonomy, identifying information such as Social Security number or Federal Employer Identification number, dates of birth, supporting documentation such as licenses, Social Security cards, certification letters, in an authorized delegate form for credentialing agents submitting an application on behalf of a provider. To start an application, click on the Application tab in Partner Portal. From there, users will be taken to the role selection page. Select who will be completing the application: the provider, the owner, officer, or board member, or a credentialing agent. If you are an authorized delegate or legally authorized agent, please select the credentialing agent option. To note, a provider is an individual that assists Medicaid recipients by providing medically necessary services. An owner, officer, or board member is a person or entity who has a percentage of possession of equity in the capital, stock, or profits of the entity. Lastly, a credentialing agent is a person who works on behalf of a provider to enter and update the provider's information. How the user starts the application directly corresponds to how they can submit it, so please select the role accordingly.
From there, you'll be taken to start an application. Under Application Type, select New Enrollment. Then begin filling in all required information, which is marked with a red asterisk. Please note that for the requested effective date, it is the date the user wants their Medicaid ID to be effective. Dates can be 365 days in the past or up to 90 days in the future. Please also note that the MPI and taxonomy fields must match the information listed in the National Plan and Provider Enumeration System, or NPES. If NPES reflects incorrect information, the information will need to be updated via NPES. The provider will then need to wait until the information is updated with NPES before beginning their application. Then proceed with completing all required information. The MCO selection is informational only. If a provider would like to participate with a Kentucky MCO, the provider must apply directly to the MCO. Once all information has been completed, you can scroll down and select Start New Enrollment. However, please be advised that any information entered in the Applying As or Provider Type fields cannot be changed nor revised. If either of these two fields are entered incorrectly, the application must be withdrawn and a new application must be started. So after ensuring all information has been entered correctly, go ahead and select Start New Enrollment.
Next, the user will begin entering required information based on their provider type. As a result, they may not see all of the screens of the application. The application is intuitive and will only direct users to complete the screens required for the provider type. Each user will begin by completing the 1.1 Basic Information screen.
The information on the 1.3 MPI screen is pre-populated from the first screen of the application and is validated against MPES, the National Plan and Provider Enumeration System. Additional MPIs can be entered on the 1.3 MPI information screen. And please note that not all providers will have an MPI, in which case you will not be prompted to complete this screen. If everything looks correct, once this is completed, you can select Save and Next. For the 1.4 Taxonomy information screen, it is also a pre-populated screen from the information entered on the first screen of the application and is also validated against MPES. Additional taxonomies can be entered here on this screen. Once everything looks correct, go ahead and select Save and Next. For the 1.7 address information screen, 3 addresses are required: a primary physical address, a mailing address, and a Pay to 1099 address. It is possible to have the same address for all 3, however, all 3 fields must be completed. When you enter your address information, there may be a possibility that the system will prompt a possible address match. In that case, select Suggested Post Office Address. Once that looks correct, select Choose and Continue, and all 3 addresses will appear. Once everything is correct on your screen, you can select Save and Next.
To complete the 2.2 license information screen, users will select the orange Add button to expand the grid. Then select the license type from the drop-down options. Please note that because certain states do not issue nurse anesthetist or nurse practitioner licenses, provider type 74 and 78 must select license type prescriber and upload their registered nurse license and their national certification for their specialty of nurse anesthetist or nurse practitioner. Next, please select the license issue state from the drop-down list of options. For the license number, please make sure the number entered on the screen matches the number on the license. In the name field, ensure the information entered in this field matches the name on the provider license, as this information is pre-populated from the basic information screen. In the license designation field, select the license designation from the drop-down menu of faculty, fellowship training, institutional practice, permanent, resident, or temporary. For the license effective and expiration dates, enter the effective date and the expiration date of the license. Once all information has been entered, select the blue Add to Grid button to populate the information to the grid. Repeat for each license as applicable. Please make sure to select the green Save and Next button to save license information to the grid. All actual license documentation will be uploaded on the 8.0 document upload screen. The 3.0 Disclosure of Ownership and Control Interest section presents a series of questions used to determine who has an ownership and controlling interest in the applicant provider. There are a total of 22 questions. Individual providers have 11 questions, while group and entity providers have 22. Please note that some questions are based on answers to previous questions and may not be applicable. More specifically, for question 6, you'll be asked to state the name, date of birth, social security number or federal employer identification number, and address of each person or entity that owns 5% or more of direct or indirect ownership or controlling interests in the applicant provider. If applying as an individual, list your information. Please note that the person or persons listed in question 6 are the only ones able to sign an authorized delegate form. For a group or entity provider, this could be the owner, officer, or board member. First, verify the pre-populated data on the screen. If changes are needed, select the orange Add button. However, be advised that the edit and delete options are disabled for individual providers, as the information listed on the grid is pre-populated from previous screens. To save any edited information, select the green Save and Next button. Then proceed to the next question. Users must answer the questions as they are presented and are not able to skip ahead to an unanswered question. The 4.0 attestation screen contains questions requiring individual providers to answer with true statements regarding licensure, registration, malpractice, certifications, and affiliations. There are 26 attestation questions to be answered. Answer each question yes or no. If the answer is no, click Save and Next to save the information and proceed to the next screen. If the answer is yes, an explanation will be required in the text box provided. For question 8A, you will be required to upload the malpractice supplemental form when you get to the 8.0 document upload screen. A link to the malpractice supplemental form will be provided. You may upload any additional supplemental documentation for all other questions when you get to the 8.0 document upload screen. Click Save and Next to save the information and proceed to the next screen. Please note that during a new enrollment, you must answer the questions as they are presented to you. You may not skip ahead to an unanswered question. Once questions are answered, you may return to any previously answered question by clicking a previous question number and navigating back to the desired previously answered question. New and existing Medicaid IDs can be linked to other Medicaid IDs on the 5.0 Provider Group Linkage screen. This is typically done for billing purposes. It is important to note that there are some restrictions on which Medicaid IDs can be linked to each other. To link an individual Medicaid ID to a group Medicaid ID on the 5.0 Provider Group Linkage screen, enter the group Medicaid ID and the group Federal Employer Identification Number. Then select Search. Find the provider and click Add, then Save and Next. To link a group Medicaid to an individual provider on the 1.5 Add Group Members screen, enter the provider's Medicaid ID and the provider's MPI, then select Search. Click Add to link the individual provider Medicaid ID to the group Medicaid ID. Next, confirm the Medicaid ID and enter the provider linkage effective date. Then, select Save and Next. Please note that the MAP 347 form will be required on the 8.0 document upload screen when an individual Medicaid ID is linked to a group Medicaid ID file on the 1.5 Add Group Member screen. Additionally, any credentialing agent that is linked to the group will have access to all the individual provider Medicaid IDs linked to the group. Adding or updating payment information occurs on the 6.0 account information screen. Providers can choose to receive payment via electronic funds transfer, known as EFT, or via check. To add electronic funds transfer information, select Electronic Funds Transfer as the payment type from the drop-down menu. Please note that individual providers may only add EFT if they own 100% of the bank account. Then, confirm that the payee name and address are correct, as they were pre-populated from previous screens. Enter the routing number and select Get Bank Details to verify bank information. For this option, a bank letter or voided check must be uploaded on the 8.0 document upload screen in order to process payment information. Then, select account type, checking or savings. Enter and re-enter the account number. Once all correct information has been entered, navigate to the next screen by clicking Save and Next. Please note that when an individual provider is linked to a group, any work performed on behalf of that group will be paid to the group, so individual providers will not enter group EFT information on their file. EFT payment information may take up to 28 days to verify. Until EFT information is verified, or if the routing information cannot be verified, the payment type will default to check. To add check information, select Check as the payment type from the drop-down menu. Confirm provider name and address are correct, as they were pre-populated from previous screens. Once all correct information has been entered, navigate to the next screen by selecting Save and Next. To change payment information once a Medicaid ID has been granted, users will need to perform maintenance to end date the current record and add a new record. All required documents for each provider type will be pre-populated in the grid and will be indicated in the required column with a Y. Each document must be uploaded individually in its designated section of the grid. To upload a document, select the Edit button in the Action column. After clicking Edit, the grid will expand. In the Upload File area, select Browse, then select the appropriate document to upload. For example, we will be uploading a Social Security card. The file name will auto-populate, but the user does have the option to change the file name should they wish to do so. Once the document is ready, select Add to Grid. If there are additional documents that are not listed that are required and need to be uploaded, select the Add button in the grid and complete the previous steps for uploading documents. To delete an additional document that has been uploaded, select the Delete button on the far right side of the grid, seen here. A Confirm box will appear. Select Yes to confirm. Only additional documents can be deleted during a new enrollment. To update a document once a Medicaid ID has been granted, a maintenance will need to be performed. After uploading all required and additional documentation, navigate to the next screen by selecting Save and Next. On the 9.0 Provider Review screen, review the application for accuracy and completeness prior to submitting it to DMS. To modify any responses or to make any changes, use the left-hand navigation menu to browse the sections and the screens. To edit any section or screen, click on the screen and navigate to the associated screen to make the necessary change. Enter the correct response or information. Please note that some changes may then affect other sections within the application. Once all changes have been made, Select Save and Next on the screen. Then continue to the 9.0 Provider Review section to view the revised responses and continue with the application review. On the 10.0 Submit screen, review and agree to the terms of agreement and electronically sign the application. As mentioned in the beginning of the video, how the application was started determines how it will be submitted. Providers, owners, officers, and board members are able to e-sign and submit the application directly to DMS. If the user is submitting as a credentialing agent with authorized delegate or legally authorized agent permissions, additional documentation is required. The signed authorized delegate form must be uploaded under the correct option. Once documentation has been uploaded, select e-sign and submit to send the application to DMS. If submitting without authorized delegate permissions, the applications must be sent to the provider for review and approval before it can be submitted to DMS. This means the provider will have to create an account to review the application. To send the application to the provider for review, select the credentialing agent option and then select Send to Provider. In this case, the provider will get a notification to the email address that was entered on the 1.1 Basic Information screen. The provider must log into or create an account that corresponds with the email address entered. To review, please note the following key points. How the application is started determines how it is submitted. Required information is based on the provider type. Screens 1.3 and 1.4 are pre-populated from the Basic Information screen. For the 1.7 Address Information screen, 3 addresses are required. For the 2.2 License Information screen, ensure the green Save and Next button is selected to save all license information. Required documents will be marked with a Y on the 8.0 document upload screen. Additional documents can only be deleted during a new enrollment. Review the application for accuracy and completeness on the 9.0 Provider Review screen. Once again, how the application is started determines how it will be submitted, either as a provider, owner, officer, or board member, as a credentialing agent with authorized delegate or legally authorized agent permissions, or as a credentialing agent without authorized delegate permissions. Thank you for watching. For additional assistance, please visit our website or contact the Partner Portal Technical Support Center at 877-838-5085, option 1, extension 1.